See. Oh, you're not going. I know. Beside, look. All right. Hit record. So you guys can cut through the middle and not going out. What's over that side? Good. It's recording.
Record to cloud or computer?
The computer. Could always computer.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay, guys. Go into share. Go into the share. You gonna click one? Yeah, it's
not coming up.
so that's it. Go into the exit. How's it going?
Crazy elect.
Share. Great share.
New York hours. But it's the pay.
Right. So, just look on the side so you don't see. Don't find
The
this
best-
top.
The best, I know that's
That's
what people, that all the
That's the
people
people
do.
who write their names down just to show basically. Alright, we're gonna start in like 1 minute.
And then a guy like the kid, he's almost bulletproof.
Alright, Angela, grab a seat. We're starting now.
We're gonna be calling, call me live.
Okay,
She's quiet.
alright, everybody, thank you for coming to the meeting today. Before we begin, we just want to let everyone know that this is being recorded. And if it needs to be for at a later date, whatever is in the chat and video will be shown at that time. Shimon, so.
Thank you all for coming tonight. We're here to listen to rezoning for 58 Nixon Court from the R5 Ocean and to the R7A C2-4 and R7A Ocean Parkway District. So council
Why is that?
Take a look at it.
amended to map the project area as matter inclusion and housing. Yes. It's a new 8-story building.
Have a couple more.
I'll get back.
7,000 square feet.
Thank you for coming out, everybody, on this November Cleary Day. It's a lot of been through a steady stream in November.
They're big.
It was changing by the hour.
That right by the hour when you have to go by general. Happening. And all you have to bring on TV.
Is it okay if I stand here? Is this good?
Absolutely. Yeah. And then you made the copies. Do you, somebody else?
So,
If somebody else.
my name is Eric Palapik. And who's controlling the screen?
I am.
So if I stay next, yeah, that'll be cool.
Yep.
Want to say anything else other than
Yeah.
that? I'll get yelled at. I gotta get that last year. David. Oh. Anyway. My name is Eric. I'm an attorney and I'm representing 58 Nixon Court in a rezoning. It's a rezoning that was before your board a few years ago. Nothing has changed. Simply withdrew it. Coming back. And the reason I'm coming back with a new application is because the reason we withdrew it when we were here last is because there was a strong belief that we were representing the building next door. And then one of the reasons we were presenting the application was to include the building next door. And that's not the case. And I included paperwork in this application to show you that. What we're asking you to build is a building that's consistent with everything else that's on the lot. This portion of Coney Island Avenue, which is the very end, which I'll show you, Ocean Parkway, excuse me, of Ocean Parkway, across from Coney Island Hospital. What I was trying to say, this is where we were the others.
Excuse me, sir.
I'm still calling City Field Sherry, so. All right, they told me I really screwed up. At least it was Staten Island University. Really bad. So I'm a couple of years off. You get just the where it is. And it looks like a park right now, and it's sat undeveloped for very many years, all these years. And that's because the zoning on it is sort of crummy. It's an R5 zoning district. R5 was made for single family, semi-detached homes and garden apartments. It's not really the case with this end of. And there's apartment buildings all around, hospitals right across the street, and the on ramp, the expressway, Belt Park Road's right there. So we're asking you to build the same building that we were here last time, asking you to build, which is an 8-story mixed-use building with ground floor retail. 17,000 square feet of floor area, including 808 square feet of ground floor for a small little commercial use. And then we'll also have 16,000 square feet above. We'll have 19 apartments, 6 of which will be permanently affordable. And we'll have 7 park spaces. And no parking is required, but last time we were here, there was a strong request for it. That's the essence of what we're asking for. If you can go now, I'll start going through the slides. You can see right up on the screen now in front of you in the top left is an image of the site itself. And as I said a moment ago, you really wouldn't know that it was privately owned, but it has been privately. You could also see in the lower right-hand corner, the building next door that's included in the rezone. That building will not be able to be enlarged as a result of this action. It's simply changing their zoning from R5 to R7 also, which brings them closer to compliance and is more representative of the size of their building. But they're not being conferred any additional rights to build anything larger, nor do we work for that. And they can be cut out of the rezoning should the councilman so desire when it gets to that point. We can go to the next slide. The next slide shows you this proposed zoning district, and this is what I was speaking about. It's an R7A. It's proposed. You can see on the right-hand side, and you can see that on the left, it shows what's existing, which is an R5. And the R7A will also have a C2 overlay. You can go to the next slide. See here, these are different features that we discussed that came into play during the last rezoning. We brought the rezoning down last time to an R7A. We agreed to restrict the commercial ground floor uses that would limit them to a potential food or convenience related use or community facility. We're happy to have it limited so there's no bars, so there's no cannabis or anything like that, or anything that people find objectionable. We agreed that during construction, the ownership would make themselves available, so there'd be no blocking of the on-ramp to the Bell Parkway, but of course, we'd be doing all construction with Department of Transportation's approval, and they would have to authorize it. We would enhance sustainable features, provide some open space on the corner, which I'll show you in a second. There'll be some open space, and we will not be enlarging as we spoke about in the adjacent building. If you go to the next slide, I'll just try to do that. That next slide just kind of tells you everything I just told you. The right-hand side describes the proposed building. The left-hand side tells you what. You can go to the next slide, please. The hospital is across the street. There is no local retail servicing the hospital. There's one little bodega across the street. Our thought for the commercial would be something to service the hospital and the workers from the hospital or people who are visiting the hospital. You can go to the next slide, please. This slide just gives you the numbers, just to show you and give you the comfort level that the adjacent building, which is 2650 Ocean Parkway, is not benefiting from this. The right side of the columns down here show you what the zoning is going to confer upon them. The left side shows you how big it is right now. You can see the numbers on the left side, how big it is right now, are all bigger than the numbers on the right side. So we're getting closer to compliance for that building, but they're still not going to have the chance to enlarge. But an R7A gives the ability, at least on the zoning map, to any potential lenders that are looking to loan money to people who have units in the building or anything like that, that there's a high density zoning district on the property. If you can go to the next slide, please. This is the proposed development. This is everything we've been telling you up until now. You can see the shape of it, the design of it, oriented onto the side street. Entrance to the garage will be over here, as well as the entrances to the residential, as well as the entrance to the commercial. So everything will be oriented on the side street, so you won't have any activity in Bell Parkway Service Road. You go to the next slide, please. That's just sustainability features, which are of course important, but I won't spend much time there. Go to the next slide, please. This gives you an idea of the number of the rents that people will be charged for affordable units. As I mentioned at the start of the presentation, because to rezone, we have to provide a certain number of affordable MIA units. The calculation is 25% of the total floor area. I mentioned 6 earlier, here the number is 4. It makes no difference, it's 25, the most important thing is 25% of the residential floor area option, which is this number right here. However much residential floor area here, which I said, I think it's, I said about 19,000 square feet, 25% of that becomes affordable housing. Now, that affordable housing gets rented out at the rents that I'm showing you on the right side, and that gives you rents, people at 40% AMI, 60 and 80% AMI. Next slide. Slide is similarly gives you the other option for affordability. You can go to the next slide, please. The next slide just shows you from a land use perspective what we're asking for. We're trying to demonstrate here that although we are asking for a zoning change and we appreciate the severity of it, we are not asking you to change the character of the area in any way, shape, or form. We're simply letting the owner have a chance to develop something here that's worthy of being developed, so they can earn a return out of it when they develop it. As you can see here, all the buildings around us are exactly the same height as ours, if not taller. So that's what this slide is meant to show you. You can go to the next slide, please. And just to give you more comfort level of the heights and of around us, you could see 108 feet, 65 feet, 68 feet. None of the buildings that are on the left, the red brick ones, none of them include affordable housing. All those buildings are built completely with market rate housing. The owners are not provided or required at any point in time when they're building those to have affordable housing. Now, everybody that's comes here and asks you for approval has to give back with affordable housing. So that's why you have proposal here at 8 stories. Can you go to the next slide, please? That just shows you some buildings that are in construction in the area. Go to the next slide, please. Next slide shows you an imagery of what the building will look like. You can see on the left-hand side of this image, the open area in the front. That was something that discussed here. You can also see here the entrance to the building and commercial space. And that's basically the application. I can go through more on the plans, but I think that time for you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for the presentation. Any questions, any comments?
Should I go
Okay,
through
I'm
the,
gonna- so let me start. Okay. And I'll explain why I want to start. I did not have to even look at the proposal because it's exactly the same proposal we saw 2 years ago, correct? 2 years ago. And this proposal you withdrew, thank you very much. And it was rejected by Land Use Commission and Community Board, not because it was misunderstanding that you represent nearby building. There were many other reasons, including commercial, including traffic, including parking situation. When you came to us last month and even now, you said it looks like a parkland. It exactly looks like a parkland. And I understand it's somebody's private property, but it's gonna be mixed common. You show us some 2 buildings, one on Action Avenue, one in Brighton Beach area. Number one, all of them are built as of rights without any URLAP. Their lots are much bigger. They're gonna provide parking numbers according to R6. Okay, they did not come to us. You're coming to us, and we are talking about triangle, which doesn't even look like any kind of construction site. It looks like a parkland. Regardless, how are you going to manage this construction is approved, it's still gonna be problem. We are talking about how many apartments? 9? 19? 19. 7 parking spaces. Not even 50%. I understand you're being generous. You don't have to provide any parking, but you're being generous providing 7 parking spaces. The area we are talking about struggles because of parking. People are riding around for 20-30 minutes, even building next door. I don't remember exact number of apartments, but I had it 2 years ago. I'm gonna look. they not even have 50% of parking spaces for their tenants. So people are looking for park. Again, it's not toward you, it's not toward the owner. I understand people have land they want to develop, but it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong lot for any kind of construction. So now let me go up to applicant responses to CB concerns. Decreasing the building size, I remember we were talking about 9 floors, now it's 8 floors, correct? Okay. Correct me if I don't remember since 2 years ago. Restricting the ground floor commercial uses. As far as I remember, we were against any commercial uses for one and only reason. Because any kind of commercial store, you mentioned grocery, bodega, requires delivery. I cannot make, one more truck delivering. Also, you mentioned community facilities. Community facilities doesn't need that, they don't need commercial zoning to be community facilities. So next door building, they have a grocery, pizzeria, whatever they have next door. So I would understand if they have nothing, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe hospital inside has many food courts. Okay. Next. Yeah, next. Providing more parking spaces, fine. No blocking of the Bell Parkway and Rap or access road. I doubt it. Enhancing the teachers will, Angela will talk about it. 5 and 6, providing lakeside open space. If we call 2 trees and 2 benches open space, great. Okay, and let's not forget. One tree. Let's not forget it's a flat zone. And when instead of trees and instead of so-called parkland, when you have cement, it increase flooding. Okay. No enlargement of adjacent building. Okay, number 1, let me repeat it again. Nobody accused you or your client of representing the building, but it might give them, no, they're not gonna ask you. If area is rezoned, yes, you're absolutely right. Councilman, local councilman may limit it to certain size, but still, people gonna ask you many questions. But again, this community board, land use committee, and entire board rejected this proposal 2 years ago. Rejected this proposal 2 years ago. You coming back, that's your job, you're doing great job, Mr. Palatnik.
Trying hard.
Okay, you're doing great job, Mr. Palatnik. I keep saying it all the time, but you're coming back to the same community board that already said no to this project. I'm confused. I'm really sorry, Miss Davis, I interrupted you. I just was part of it 2 years. I'm checking my memory if I remember this.
Ms. Davis?
Ms. Davis had some of the same concerns that you had. I'm new to the board, but a lot of the concerns that you brought up, I understand. My concern too is it's like a diamond shape. The bus stop is there. Cars are coming, there's 2 ways like for the cars to come. Like when you're coming down this way, you have to stop to let another car come past. It's dangerous over there. It's very dangerous over there. And if you have, a building there, you're gonna have people there and stuff. And I'm concerned about the traffic and an accident happened there where someone's trying to get on the highway real quick and bang. And then as far as the apartments, and there being 19 apartments, and only 6 of them is supposed to be
Affordable.
affordable. When you look at these prices, it is no way that this is affordable. Yeah, not the people who, well, you know what? People who live out here in Coney Island cannot afford that.
Can
Are
I,
these gonna be turning into to condos?
yeah, can I
Beyond,
address that?
it's beyond his control, it's a state figure, okay?
Oh.
In order, wait, even though they call it, area medium income, but it has nothing to do with the area, it's a state figure, or, so we are talking about Article 21, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, we are talking about Article 21, with some kind of incentives for developer for providing affordable house. No one is mandated by state to provide affordable housing for certain percentage of area medium income. They can choose from 40%, 60%, 80%. So if correct me if I'm wrong, but according to your last month's presentation, we were talking about 60% of median income.
Yes,
And you even gave us prices for studio and one bedroom.
yeah,
apart.
which you just have the same.
Yeah, okay.
Same class.
So again, we have to talk to state that it's really inappropriate to call it area median income when it has nothing to do with the certain area. It's not them.
As opposed to local,
Huh?
as opposed to local median.
Yeah,
income,
yeah.
Which is what we all want it to be, but it's not anyway.
Yes, it's not part of Article 21, unfortunately.
Maybe it's something we can do about that.
All right, we have a question on
Oh, yeah.
screen.
On the screen?
Yeah, Mark,
Oh.
Mark Marnick?
Yes, what's your question?
Just.
Wait a minute,
No.
I'm gonna unmute. Yeah, this is an aside. You say permeable in your permeable pavement for the parking. Your drawings are showing the parking inside part of the building. So
Yeah.
what permeable, I mean, what's permeable if it's inside the building, hopefully it's not.
That, you talked about that last bullet, that was an error, that shouldn't be in there.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mark.
Question.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you. I haven't, I just was curious. I don't really see how you're going to be able to ensure that like there's going to be no blockage during or after the construction.
Oh, I could explain.
You've done, like an emergency impact response study.
So-
On at the end line.
Yeah, so what happens is, and this is for any construction project, obviously this construction going up all the time. It is a disturbance, obviously, this was raised, and it does impact people's lives. But there is a method to the city's madness. Before anybody could apply for a buildings permit, they have to go to the Department of Transportation and they apply for a builder's pavement plan. The builder's pavement plan sets forth sections of the roadway that have been closed during the construction that have been done in conjunction with the Department of Transportation. And DOT takes into consideration all of the factors that we just mentioned, the bus stops and things like that. I'm sure you've all traveled around New York City and you've seen buildings under construction and you've seen the roadway, how it's been impacted and dealt with. And it's not done in a way so as to impede all travel, but there is an impact on travel. Sometimes you see a sidewalk shed, you see people diverting, pedestrians diverting underneath the sidewalk shed, things like that. We have agreed that we will work with the community when they make the application to have the least impact as possible. One of my clients, for example, had a similar issue recently on Queens Boulevard that we just finished up in Lynn Shulman's district. And they had the exact same issues, and there's a guy in a stand out front. Everybody wanted to make sure he was protected during it, and it was done that way, and there was communication with the community board. It's done automatically by DOT, but I'll pledge here and we'll pledge here even more so to work closely with.
And do
Well,
Like to say a few words about Ocean Parkway District.
yes,
It's a special Ocean Parkway District for a reason, because it's a park, it's the longest park in New York City. And it's been done just to stop that kind of overbuilding that we see next door. It was revised just recently by City Planning Commission, Daniel Garodnik and Eric Adams, so it's pretty much a life and teaching. They try and enforce it, and the reason is landmark, national, I mean, city landmark, not national, sorry. So the area that you ask to rezone is about, what, at least 10 times bigger. So you applying for 1 cent, but you rezoning 10 times more. Who knows what happens in the future? Because you can have this responsibility. You can vouch for people who want to be there, and they will be overbuilt, and that's my issue. And so, of course, the fundamental issues that been 2 years ago remains now. You trim a little bit from the top and you trim a little bit from FAR. I see this, that's good approach, but the problem is still there.
Fair enough.
Michael, Michael.
With all due respect to the previous speakers. Number one, this site is a block away from the bus stop. Not, the bus stop is not there because where that point comes to, it's not wide enough to even have the front piece of the bus there. So that's one. Calling it a woodland or park now, it's more like an enhanced dog run. Now, I've lived here, okay, for way too many years, okay, to talk about it, but that's always been empty. That's always been a dump. Only the past couple of years had they been trying to keep it clean. But it is definitely more a dog walk than anything else that you can do there. As far as the building next door, the Trump building, what used to be the Trump building, excuse me. That little pizza place and so on certainly isn't enough for what the hospital employees can use. If you look at the parking, well, it's a different generation than we're used to. Most of them Uber today because of the prices of insurance and things like that. And that's probably what they're aiming for here in this building, that type of aid. I really don't see a downside to putting it here. It certainly looks better than a dog walk. And I think it will help serve the need that we certainly have of lack of housing.
Thanks, Michael. I don't know about Uber, I just know 2 or 3 dozens of people who live in the area. I'm talking about Old Trump, you know, how you call it, Beach Haven, okay? The next door building, all of them have cars, okay? Them and their children and on and on. They cannot rent apartments saying no cars, please. The same like, you remember the story, I believe it was the Blasio era and Bloomberg when they were talking about building those little apartments for single people, okay? And like now, when I ask we are talking about construction in Coney Island development, and when I ask where are schools, I'm being told, oh, it's for young people, so they're gonna put, you know. So again, I mean, we are all entitled for opinion, you're absolutely right. Something could be done, should be done, it's better than dog run, but to me, it doesn't look appropriate to be built a story building with 19 families. We don't know how many people are gonna live there, if they have cars or not. And also, if we are talking about the ground floor, if we restricted use, as I said, for community facilities, they do not need the C1, C2-4 zoning, okay? They can be, you know, be there without such zoning, but we cannot guarantee, it's not gonna be part of the application. How many, what groups are you, did you list, what groups use?
Use
this?
groups,
Yeah.
6 or
So what is it?
with the old 6 or
Okay.
4, I'm not.
But it's
I have
not,
to update
okay,
it.
but it's not, more old 604 because of City of Yes commercial component, because they group so many different types of businesses under different groups.
Yeah, we'd be
So-
happy to restrict to whatever.
Okay,
we thought
so for example, now it's completely different. It, the restaurant, little cafe, coffee shop, and on, and, little dairy, it's all under one use group. Yeah, it's all under the same use group. That's the problem. And I don't have to worry about Brighton because C1-2 is excluded, but C2-4 is included in all of those changes. So we don't know what kind of business gonna be there in 3 years, 4 years after it's been built. That's only I wanted to say. We know about it. We know about it. We know the rule. We are talking about groups. We are talking about old groups versus new groups. And
But I know if I'm looking for an apartment. And I know that a car is important because I work where I have to have a car. And I am not guaranteed a car by moving in here,
You're not
then I'll look
moving,
somewhere else. Okay, that's number one. Number two, they're building three, almost finished now, three large towers right across the street from where I live. Sky 3 or whatever they're calling it now, right? Right where the old, right? Now, they don't have anywhere close to the percentage of parking
they're not
spots.
supposed to.
I know, that's my point. Anywhere close to the percentage of parking spots for all those families, three huge buildings, they're 24 stories tall. Okay? He also just built across the street opposite McDonald's. He's got parking, but nowhere close to the percentage that this building will have.
So what is
So-
percentage?
Whatever the percentage is, it's less than here. But my point is, if car is important to me, that's not a building I'll look for. If it doesn't matter, then maybe I would consider that as a, renter or what have you.
If you
That's
can
part of
name
the
me,
decision.
if you can name me even one area in Brooklyn or Queens or in Manhattan now, where we have high rises, where you can get parking spots out, I'll be
Oh,
surprised.
you can get a.
So that just shoots your argument in the foot.
Yeah, $50,000 if you buy it, yeah.
So that just shoots that argument about parking in the foot. If nowhere else is allowed,
So,
why are we doing here?
Okay, my question is, we have more than enough built as of right. When we had no say, no word, no opposition, okay? Like, very simple, maybe stupid question. Why do we have to add into it? It's really an appropriate place to build and yes, I'm sorry, I'm not.
No, Jeff Sano.
Yeah, I got two simple questions. How many EV stations are gonna be in the park?
Right now, we're planning 3 to 4 of them to be.
3 to 4?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be selling those EV stations? I mean, is it when somebody parks there, they have to buy the?
No,
Station.
the building will be a rental and the parking spaces will be.
So I'm talking about the EV stations.
Yeah, that'll be,
If
it's
you
some
rent,
of the,
if you rent
yes,
the parking spot,
yeah,
that's your own, that's your.
that is, but what you're starting to see happen in a lot of buildings where this is going in, what clients are reporting back to us, is people are actually trading off parking spaces. So if somebody has an EV spot and the neighbor doesn't, they will actually make their own deals amongst each other for the use of the parking spot at certain times, so. one
So how
person
much
can
is
charge. I don't know what the rates are. And in that time, the technology is gonna change.
That's gonna be on the cost of the rental.
Yeah, they have to pay for that.
Secondly, it's a flood zone. How many trees are gonna be there? Because one tree absorbs 1,000 gallons of water a year.
Who's controlling the screen if you go to the site?
51 page. I have 15 right now up. What? I'm sorry, say it again?
All the way at the very end. Go to the very end. Yeah, past that, keep going. Okay, great, there you go. Stop right there. It's like wheel, it's like, it's right, you know. Big wheel.
6, 7, 8,
According to that
8.
diagram, there's gonna be
Eight,
8 trees.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Now, is that guaranteed or is that just because of the drawing?
That's guaranteed, that's a requirement of Department of Transportation. 7 are guaranteed, the 8th is the one tree that they were talking about before, that's what we're. proposing.
This one?
Yeah, yeah.
I remember the tree too.
Yes. They still got, doesn't make a difference who owns it over there, they still gather the water, that's, and it's a requirement that when you build any building in New York City, that the tree pits are designed in a way so they act as bioswales to absorb the water, that's what it's discussing.
And have you done any assessment in those trees that they will mitigate flooding?
Yeah, the city has done the assessment, bioswales, what I was just speaking about, that's why they're required.
In this particular,
In all areas around the city, it's the
but
same,
in this particular.
it'll act the same way, yes.
Where can I
It'll
go
back
to find
to
that out?
It's online, at least probably give you a link for it somewhere on the city planning's website for about bioswales.
Thank you.
The sidewalk,
Already?
no, well, no, we're not gonna be, the sidewalk will be consistent with every other sidewalk that's adjacent to it. That's code. You can't make a sidewalk smaller. There's nothing you could do to do that. That's mapped. It's. Yeah, no, that's the one thing, the sidewalk will be the same as it is now. It's not gonna change. It's gonna be built to code, same as sidewalks, well, not here, you have not very wide sidewalks. The same as you have on most other streets adjacent to it. Same as on all the blocks next to it, it's not gonna be any different than any other block. No, because every block in the city is required to have trees. The trees are not just a requirement. This developed, they're any development. If you didn't develop it, the property, there would be no trees installed. But the second you build anything, it has R5 zoning, so say I want to build houses there, which is what you're allowed to build. Or a garden apartment, I still have to do the same amount of trees that are there right now, exactly as you see in the flag, it wouldn't change. My request is not triggering anything different on top.
There. Children. Families to get some. Little base.
I understand the answer.
Any other questions? Oh, for sure.
Have you done any infrastructure strain reports? Sort of water research.
As a part of the application, yeah, there's an environmental assessment statement gets filed with the application, that's been two, because twice. And that's, as part of that, the city's environmental quality review program, a consultant is retained and submits to the city all different impact categories, such as everything you just mentioned, sewage, wastewater, light, air, noise, traffic. And there are certain requirements that the city has that if you go above them threshold, they'll flag it. I'll say this is called a problem. Nothing has been flagged here, it's just negative declaration, but it's body. System. That's triggered. So. We get a copy.
Any other questions, comments?
One more question.
Oh, Jack.
How many elevators are gonna be in one? Just one? No commercial moving in?
Oh, excuse me, there'll be 2 elevators, in case one was there. I think there'll be 2. If you go back to, let me see, hold on, maybe 1 or 2. Hold on.
Which way?
No, only 1.
It's kind of.
Which way?
Hey, you're there, you can go back. That's fine. Only 1. There'll be a staircase and.
From a public safety viewpoint, that is not acceptable to me personally. Okay. I know we have 2 in our co-op. One was down almost every month. Okay. And if you have a EMT coming in, or fire department coming in, or there's a fire in the building, it's a problem for me. Thank you.
Is there a rule, a law somewhere that says, you have to have 2?
I don't know the specific law, but I do not believe it's being triggered here. 2.
Any questions, comments? Well, no more, any, no questions, no comments? We need to make a motion. No, what about, oh, oh, please.
No, there's
No,
no.
didn't see that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's not gonna work. Nobody has question.
No one up there.
No one up there has
Oh.
questions.
No,
You have a design, what would look like as of right, if you're gonna build as of right without any kind of change?
No, we don't have a design for that, but it would be about a 45 foot tall, garden apartment. So you'd probably end up with a 3 or 4 story garden.
So, we're gonna make a positive motion, we always
Three or
do.
four stories.
So I guess, I'll make a motion to approve the application. Anyone will second this or? So you want me to read the names or?
roll call.
Yes, you can do it?
Who does?
I guess we do it because I have it here anyway. No. John Whites,
Yes.
Michael Silverman.
Here.
Christian. How you voting? Yes? No? You don't know, okay. Elena,
No,
Jenny. Jolene Davis.
No.
Marion Cleaver.
No.
Angela. Jeffrey Sano,
No,
John Whites.
no.
Shimon Kowski also, none. So we have one yes, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 no's. One yes, 9 no's.
motion tonight.
Yeah, motion.
So what's gonna happen now, this has to go before the board, because what happens here, you have to realize, is the 9, 10 of you does not represent the full board. So the full board now has to go and use this, stating that it was a no vote by committee. And then the full board has to vote too. And of course, it's gonna happen for next week. So come next, Wednesday, the 25th, we'll vote on this again. So Eric, you will come again if there's any additional questions, that you can answer, you know, and.
It's on the 25th, right?
Yes, sir.
7 o'clock at, South.
We'll be there, at least we'll be there that night. I have a conflict, so we'll be there. Thank you all very much for your consideration this evening.
All right, great.
Yeah, so let's make a motion to adjourn and I think we have it. Do we have any old business, new business? Do you have any old business, new business? Anybody? Old business? I don't think there is not. Any old business, new business? Let's adjourn. Thank you for coming.
I am.